everyone, anyone, whoever's on here, whoever's watching. It's one of my fuzzy dice. Anyway, I had someone convince me to pop on here and spill my guts about how I got into writing. It's funny, I could hop on here and talk about Dungeons and Dragons, the books themselves, hell, even like Warhammer lore, all that nerd stuff that I love. I could do that all day, but when I gotta talk about myself, it's I never know what to say, so this is awkward, but I guess I'll just jump right into it. So I started writing in high school, was when I wrote my first book, and it was funny because I hated English, and I still do. I'm not great at it. But I had a teacher, her name was Miss Spurlock, and I still to this day I can credit her for why I write books. I was in a literacy class, and I didn't want to do it. Like any high schooler, man, I'm looking for the path of least resistance. And I was at the start of the class, at the start of the year, I made her a bet. I was like, I will write a whole book to prove that I'm literate if you'll just give me the credit. And to my surprise, she called my bluff. So I had to write a book. And I went to like all of my friends, and I'm getting names and character ideas and powers, and which is why so many of the names in the first book are all over the place, because there were so many different people that gave me ideas for these characters, where the inspiration is from, and I had to sort them in little factions and like by their powers and personalities and make it work. And it took some months, but throughout my time in there, I wrote a very rough draft of the first Territorial War book. It was not the greatest, because I wasn't the greatest at writing. It's been refined a lot since then, but I wrote it, I turned it in, she read it over, and I got my credit. And it took a break for a while, but eventually, I got an itch to go back and just redo it. Same story, same people, but just way more detail, more character development, more descriptive sentences and things like that to give it more world building. And that's why the first book, because obviously the style that I did it was amateur. It's arguable I'm still amateur, but I'm way better at world building now, doing it slowly instead of just kind of on the nose, which is how the first book kind of is. But I rewrote it, and I went back to it, and it took some time, but I eventually redid it and made it the full-fledged story it is now. I just kind of let that sit for a long time. I thought that was it. I felt good. I wrote one book. I found an offhand way to publish it, and that's how it went. But of course, over time, I kept going. I eventually picked it back up and go from there. But that's that's pretty much it. That's how I got into writing. That's why I write. So if you ever see this, Miss Spurlock, thank you. It's made me less money than I've spent. I sell more books to myself than anyone else, but I love it. I love the story. I love the world, and I love writing. The expression. It's great. And I don't know who's gonna watch this, if anyone, but if anyone ends up showing interest, I guess I could pop on here and keep going. Obviously, I kept going. I'm about to publish my 10th book at the start of next month, which is a little surreal. It's wild, but I guess if anyone wants to see it, I can keep going from there. I am a long way from high school now in life, so there's a lot more to the story. But to anyone who has watched this, I guess, thank you. And, if it happens, I'll see you next time. Y'all have a good one.